All right, so Square Cash App is trying to get into, well, I should say Square in general, trying to get into the DeFi zone. We're going to dive into that today. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to TechPath. Let's get into where Square is going and kind of the whole evolution of Jack Dorsey. I think if you look at what Square, also Jack Dorsey, co-CEO of Twitter, all these activities have, I think, a lot more synergies now in place after we see their Q2 earnings and kind of the position, but also the direction of where Square is going in terms of Bitcoin and the potential for the DeFi space. I want to jump to a story real quick. Square wants in on the DeFi boom. This was over from Yahoo Finance, or from Motley Fool, by Adam Levy, and it was, I think he pulled out some really good points here. Obviously, Jack Dorsey announced its new business segment, building a DeFi platform. The new segment is focused on Bitcoin instead of other blockchain. And then, of course, interest in cryptocurrency is obviously taking a big step up around both Square and also what's happening overall in the DeFi space. So I think Square is really kind of positioned very well for what could be happening for Square. Right now, I think when you look at their current stock price, a lot of their value that has really kind of skyrocketed over the last few months, a lot of that I think helped because of the B Word conference, where you had obviously Jack Dorsey, Elon Musk, and Cathie Wood all talking about the future of DeFi and just in general cryptocurrency. But just in the focus of what they are looking to do with Cash App to become essentially the cornerstone for potentially really becoming a payments platform. I am very interested in how and what they are going to build, because this is where it gets really interesting for the point of where Square is going. Remember, Square has, and also Jack Dorsey has, over almost 2 decades of software development chops. So the potential here is pretty grand when you compare this to what we're seeing potentially in some of these upstart, DeFi projects. This is a really talented team that has a lot of functionality already built in because of their ecosystem around the Square side. So look here, what exactly is Square building? Dorsey made the announcement of the new business segment referred to as TBD via this tweet, and it basically says, listen, we're going to create a new business joining the seller, Cash App itself, plus Tidal, all focusing on building an open developer platform. All sounds very familiar. And then, of course, narrow this into non-custodial, permissionless, and decentralized. Don't have a name for it just yet, but it's coming to a Twitter app, I think, and a Square Cash App near you very soon. All right, so what can Square gain from DeFi? Owning the platform that people use when you look at social media and kind of the explosion of where that's going. 36 million Cash App users. This really kind of opens up a massive opportunity, I think, for both Twitter, Square, and Jack Dorsey kind of combining this dual CEO role, which he's taken a lot of heat over the past few months and really the past year, of a lot of people looking at what Jack Dorsey is doing, both Twitter and Square, as a co-CEO. Now maybe all of this comes together with some sort of science, and where does this look like it's going to go? I want to jump to their second quarter report, and this was on page 8. So if you guys have not had a chance to review it, just jump to page 8. Goes right into their revenue and gross profit. Total net revenue, $4.6 billion. But right here, excluding Bitcoin, total net revenue in the second quarter was 1.96, up 87%. Gross profit, 1.14 billion, and in the second quarter, which was up 91% and up 57% on the CAGR basis. So when you look at these kind of growth points and where crypto is really showing a large potential for where Square, because they're just now getting started. So for them to be able to really inject a significant amount of profitability through Bitcoin and the utilization of cryptocurrency in general, I think the real interesting play here is when that app really starts to create more of a, one, the wallet side of things, and two, is actually transactional level interactions within the app itself. That's going to be interesting to see how all of that comes together with what Square. So here's the question I have. When you look at where Cathie Wood, remember Square is the #2 position in Cathie Wood's ARK Innovation Fund. And that's one of the hottest ETFs out there when it comes to tech companies. And she continues to put a lot of confidence in both Square and Jack Dorsey. And I think this is kind of that separator of where Square has become highly connected to the potential of where cryptocurrency is going down the future. So there's a big, big factor here in what this could mean as their stock price. Now, and I'm going to show you a chart, give you some sentiment and some amplification analysis on where Square could be going, all because of crypto. This is all because of the Square Cash App, how crypto is going to be integrated, what they're going to be building, which right now Jack is being a little bit cagey about, but I have a feeling they've got something very special in mind for the Cash App and also for what's going to happen potentially maybe on Twitter or with Twitter in the future. And there's a lot to be said about what that could be for the future of cryptocurrency. Let's jump over to TradingView real quick just to kind of get a little bit about where Square is. We pulled two sentiment bubbles on them. One was back here as we saw Square declining in May. That was the big one, of course, that pretty much this declined right with the line of where cryptocurrency was running. So you started right there on May 7th, dropping down here to May 19th. Sentiment was holding at a 59.03 and an amplification score of 46.33. Both of which are very strong. The amplification score, though, is one that I was a little concerned with, but it was a decent one. It did kind of show a little bit of growth right here. Let me get my marker so we can kind of follow along. A little bit of growth right here over this period up to around 28th of May. And then we get this little bit of chop right through here before we see a little bit of a new zone. And this is where the sentiment was kind of interesting. This section right here showed a lot of faith and confidence on where Square was going. This also had a lot of relation to some of the news that started to break loose on what they were planning with the B-Word conference, the applications for Square app. All of these things were coming down the pipe. Amplification went up from 46 to 53.61. Very strong. Even though we missed a little bit of the underscore right here, it actually overperformed in this section right here. Pretty much on the bullseye in this section right here, and we're a little bit out of the window right here and right here. But overall, the amplification had been holding. This right here, of course, is what we're seeing in this most recent run-up with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all of the altcoin projects that essentially have been having great traction over the past few weeks or past 10 days. And I think that run-up is where we're seeing this. So much like MicroStrategy, much like some of the other components of what I think some of these publicly traded companies are going to be bellwethered and linked to cryptocurrency, Square, Cash App, and all of this newfound technology that I think Dorsey is underpinning because of the fact that this becomes a global potential payment system that can truly be a very interesting platform that could be adopted by countries, could be adopted by CBDCs. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity here, especially the fact that it is Square doing this. So there's a lot of potential here in terms of the future. And I think actually this stock, ironically, might be underpriced right now, even with this last run up, because if Bitcoin continues and cryptocurrency in general continues its ascension toward what we think might be the end year around 100K, still, that's what I'm shooting for. I'm holding to that 100K six-figure number, and I'm holding to the bull market still being fully intact, and we will see it happen. Now, Bitcoin's got a lot of movement right now. There's been some price action over the past 10 days. We've seen Ethereum kind of decouple a little bit. All of this is showing good signs for bullish indicators for what is happening in the DeFi space around these app developers, especially related to Square. And there's some other players, of course, with PayPal out there with the super app. And I think what PayPal's plan, these two companies I think are going to be going head to head before long and really fighting for the next evolution. The wild card to watch out for in all of this is going to be Robinhood. Robinhood could really kind of come into play here, obviously seeing the kind of growth and the trader mentality and also the customer makeup of both the Square Cash App individual and the Robinhood user are going to have a lot of synergies. There could be some interesting things here. Maybe one buys the other buys Square. Who knows? But if one of those things were to happen, flower works in cryptocurrency for sure. You guys are listening in over on the podcast right now. Make sure and give us some stars over there. Always love your comments. And of course, if you're here on YouTube, make sure and subscribe below and like the video. If you don't like Square, you don't like Jack Dorsey, don't hate the video. Just, hate the player, not the game. But anyway, make sure and give me your comments, because I'd love to get your feedback. We are getting a ton of great input from our audience, and that's what we love. If you want to reach out to me direct, you can hit me up on Twitter, of course, at Paul Barron. I'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.